Hey everybody, Kevin here from HumboldtCraftworks. Welcome to the holiday edition of Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. Every year about this time, I build things for friends and family. This year I'm going to make my granddaughter Charlotte a table and two little tiny chairs, little itty bitty chairs for her little one-year-old self to sit at and draw and do whatever the hell she wants to. I don't really care. Play her little keyboard, stand on, throw around. It doesn't matter to me. And the reason I'm doing this is because my grandpa passed away when I was only 6 years old, and he made me a boat, which is sitting right up here on the shelf, that I still have to this day, and I look at it every single day, and that was 50 some odd years ago. So, you know, woodworking outlasts people, and hopefully this will outlast me. Well, I hope it does. Hopefully I'll still be around for a while so I could make more of these silly videos. I made a little drawing right here of my granddaughter's size, and I kind of made chairs hopefully to fit her. They might be a little big, but she's going to grow. So. And I'm going to try to figure out a color scheme. I want to make the table match the chair bottoms. So if that sounds interesting to you, come along and we'll make a table and chairs together for little people. Happy, happy. Joy, joy. Hey everybody, before we start this video, I'd like to thank everybody out there for subscribing and liking and all the comments. It really means a lot to me, and it really helps out. And Happy New Year. Let's get to the video. All right, here we go. So I think the rule of thumb for seats, like where you sit your butt down, is they're usually square. So I want this to be a foot wide because she's only like 8 inches wide right now. She's little. She's only like 1.5 years old. So here's what I'm going to do. I think where she sits is going to be 12 inches, and we're going to go 13 maybe. So I'm going to rip this down on the table saw. We're going to rip it to 13 by 12. I think we're also going to do like a little, like a cherry, and walnut down the middle. And I'm going to do the same with the little tiny top. I'm going to do cherry, and a walnut stripe. And we'll just kind of make it up as we go along. We're going to start with the seat first, and we'll go from there. All right. Here's the first thing we're going to do, I guess. We're going to figure out how wide we're going to make the cherry pieces, the walnut pieces. Let's come in 5 from either side and leave a little 2-inch stripe down the middle. So this is going to be cherry, and a walnut stripe. So if we're going to make 2 of these, what we're going to do is double the length and add 5 or 10 inches for planer snipe. So I got my cutlass, it's on here. That's for the seat, and we're done with that. We got to figure out what'll be a good size, like 2 foot by 2 foot table. What do you think about that? 2 foot by 2 foot, I think that'll be good. So if we have 2 foot here, and we want to keep the theme going with this, right? So this would be 2 5s and a 2-inch. So what would that translate to something that's 24 inches? A couple 10s and a 4-inch, right? That makes sense, right? All right, here's the tabletop right here now. We have 10-inch cherry, 4-inch walnut. And that'll kind of match the chairs, which are 5, 5, and 2. And this will be 10, 10, and 4. That didn't take too long. I'm going to put these over here because I have to find the wood now, hopefully somewhere, and we'll mill it up. So now we're going to make legs. I'm going to draw the legs out. We need legs that are going to be 22 inches tall. And they're going to be flat on the back, but it's going to have this like bevel up, and we got to draw that in somehow. So we're going to start with something this wide. This is 24 inches long. And I think what we're going to do, I was just going to use this, kind of like a blank. I'm going to go up here. So if we're going to make the top of the seat 10 inches, because otherwise she won't be able to get her little tiny butt up there, we're going to subtract 5/8. Gives us 9 3/8. I'm going to make a mark right up here. That is the bottom of the chair. So I'm going to add 5/8, make it 10. That way I know where the top of the seat is. Top of the seat. So here's the leg. It's still a blank. This is where the seat's going to be. So we're going to have little cleats that hold it up. I'm not sure what you call chair parts, you know, the seat, the legs, and the rails, or shit, I don't know, whatever furniture is called. I don't build furniture that much. Whatever. We're going to angle all this now. Angle it. So I want to have a slight little angle. And then we want the angle to go back up here. And I want it to turn around here. And that's what these are good for. Especially the French curly thing. So, oh, I got to go to 22 inches. We forgot about that part. I'm getting all excited. See, I normally get excited when I'm building stuff because I like building stuff. But when it's for my granddaughter, it's special. Because she's special. Sentimental old fart, I guess. I don't. But, you know, it's for my granddaughter. You don't get a granddaughter every day, you know. At least I hope not. God, you'd be like miserable. 900 girls in your house. Okay, never mind. All right, so I put a mark at 22 inches from the bottom down here. So there's what we've done so far. I've done a little angle here. I marked the chair in at 5/8, and there's the top is 10 inches. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come and taper this up and then round over the top. So we can use that little guy or this guy here. And you can see I draw all over the place. I put tape on here and I can line a line up with a line. And that way I know I'm getting the exact same mark, whether I flip it over this way or that way. Depends on what I'm building. I do it quite a bit though. So let's start with how far do we want to go back? So the bottom is like 1 3/4. The top's going to be 1 1/2 with a little round over. The bottom's 1 3/4 because it's the bottom. You want it burlier. We have the chair that's going to come up here, and this is going to kind of round back, and then we're going to put a little round over on here. This width here is 1 1/2 inches. But now we got to make it look like it's not stupid. Yeah, I don't want it to look totally stupid. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this looks better. More sharper. There we go. There we go. That's what I like right there. Oh. Okay. You see that? This is basically what it's going to look like. We're going to make 4 of those. 1 inch thick and 2 1/4 wide. So we're going to have to mill that down. I'm going to write this down too. I know it doesn't look like much now, but by the time we get it rounded over and put all together in beautifulness, it'll be cool. So now I'm going to lay out the 2 little back things, you know, with the backrest thing, whatever you want to call it. It's a backrest. Put the chair out here. Here's the seat. Okay, so the seat goes that way. Somewhere in here, we're going to have to figure out how to make all this doable. We're going to put some cleats under there. I know, I'm going to get to these in a second. I just thought of something. Like under the seat itself, we're going to have 1 1/4 cleats. And somehow we're going to be able to attach that to this curved piece here. Maybe. This is what happens, Charlotte, when Grandpa starts working. Crazy things happen and his brain starts smoking. You'll see smoke come out of my ears in a minute. That's why I have no hair. I burned all the hair off my head from thinking so damn much. It gets all hot and it just disappears. That's what happens, I'm telling you. I got to make legs for the table. We'll deal with that later. So now we're going to finish laying these out. So I'm going to draw in where the little backrest parts are going to go. Yeah, so we're going to go down 2, 3 inches, 2 inches, and then 2 inches, and that's going to be that. Really? And then what we're going to do is we're going to slightly curve it. So it's going to be slightly curved, and we're going to have to do that on a piece like this. And then I'm going to have to trace that out, and then we're going to bandsaw it, and then we're going to I use the Edgesander to make it smooth. Okay, so what we're making is these parts here, and we're looking down this way. So we're going to do this. I'm going to put another center line on this because it's just easier to follow from the center and then work your way out. And what's going to happen is they're all going to be the same radius, right? So now we're going to be looking down at it. We want it to be 1 inch thick. I don't know if you can see this or it'll even make sense to you, but this is the overall width right here. It's about almost 2 inches wide. This is the where the end needs to be. Now we're going to draw a little radius in here. And what we're going to use, check this out. It's been sitting up there for so long, it's got a natural curve to it. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So I got a foot-long rule, and I'm looking right at the 6. And I'm trying to figure out, right there actually looks pretty good. And right there it looks like the center, which looks like a good spot. And since I have the center marked on here, I'm just going to take this, hold it in place, and just put a slight little, angle to it. Got a piece of schmutz on there. It's just slightly curved. And I'm going to do the same here, but I'm lining it up on my pencil marks. I'm going to push down in the center, and I'm just scratching this across here. That gives me that piece right there. I'm going to cut it out on the bandsaw. I'm going to edge sand it till it's right, and then if I don't like it, the curviness of it, and I want to make it more curvy, I will. But I think it just needs to be slight. It doesn't need to be. It just doesn't need to be flat. Look at that, just a natural curved piece of wood, just an old crappy old piece of wood, just sitting there off my wood pile, and it just stayed like that. We're using just natural things like that. All right, there we go. Hey everybody, I'm back. Okay, I made this little piece right here. I actually shrunk it down in size because when I was going through all the materials, I realized that I didn't have walnut that was long enough, and most of it was split on the ends like this because it's scrap wood. And I did have pieces that were long enough that were cherry. So here's what we're going to do. I shrunk this down in size because I'm going to just use this. I'm going to make 1 inch rips to make my legs using this hunk of cherry here. So we're changing the color scheme around, I guess. So instead of having walnut legs, we're going to have cherry legs. We're going to have the cherry front legs, we're going to have cherry back legs, because this is the back leg. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these pieces here, the back and all the trim around the bottom, out of walnut, because I have enough pieces to do that. Things change. It's what I have. I'm making it out of scrap. So I've got this piece made here. I've got this piece made here. Can you see the arch in that? Barely anything. And this piece goes right in here like this. Just like that. Barely curved. All right, I'm going to start milling up some parts. And you'll probably see me tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So we have the tabletop glued up, and the two seats are glued up. And I milled up the legs right here, and I realized I didn't have a skirt, so I went and milled up a 2-inch skirt, which is back here right behind me. And then I realized, well, I don't want to make them square like this because that's boring, and I want to chamfer them. I marked all of the legs with a 2-inch line all the way around it up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bevel everything just like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll try to zoom in and see if you can see that. I drew it in pencil on all sides. And I also drew the bottom in. What we're going to have is a tapered, 4-way tapered leg, right? It's going to come up and it'll be tapered instead of just plain Jane, whatever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a jig to cut on the table saw. Because you remember the last time I did a tapered cut on the table saw, I was building this guy right back here. And my microphone broke, and I hope this is working now, because I'm going to show you another way to do an angle cut on the table saw. So we're going to put a 45 tapered cut on these legs, and that should make it look kind of cool. So it came in 3/8 of an inch from the edge on all sides. You can see that there, hopefully. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this onto this piece of MDF here. I'm going to use a couple pieces of scrap, and we're just going to put this on an angle to cut that bevel with the table saw over at 45 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a stop in the front here and an angled piece of wood here so we can just butt the piece in and run it. And I think I can hold it in place as I'm cutting it. So at the top of the jig, we're going to set this to 1 inch. I'm going to put a mark. I'm also going to take this piece here and I'm going to set that right at that 1 inch mark. And now I'm going to set my square to 1 3/8, which is this right here. Push that over until it's at 1 3/8. Make sure this is flush here at the 1 inch mark. And that right there is at the 1 3/8 mark. I'm drawing a line. And I'm also putting a line up here. I know exactly where this is going to be and where that's going to stop. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this side over here. And this will tell me what I need to set my table saw to. 2 15/16. I'm going to write that down. Okay, so here's the fence. As we're running it through the table saw, it's going to taper and taper and taper till it hits 0, which should be at this line right here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I drew the line on there. I got a 45 back here. We're going to do a dry run first and cut this down to size before we attempt to put this on there. Better to do it and, practice and screw something up like a jig instead of your hunk of wood. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what's going on. Okay, here we go. Okay, it kind of freaked me out, but it went on the inside. But if you look on the inside of that, that's what we're trying to cut right there. Okay, so this time I'm going to cut the whole jig. It just looked a little weird, but I forgot it has to come inside the hunk of wood. Duh. Yeah, here we go. That screw is sticking up barely. That's screwing me up, so I'm going to go tighten it up. Yeah. All right, now they're all set in there. Yeah, it was wiggling. I couldn't figure out why the hell it's wiggling for. So shall we try it? Oh, man. Yeah, we're just going to hold it like that and cut. I can already tell you now it's going to be shy. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this jig, I'm going to join it down until it works once I get it there. Let's just see how it works. Okay, that's doing exactly what I want it to do. What I need to do is take off 1/8 of an inch off this. I'm just going to come this way 1/8 of an inch. All right, it's set at 2 3/8 now. I'm going to try this again. That one got gizmoed right there. That piece of wood, so you got to watch these little guys come back and get you. There you go, 45. So it's kind of, I don't know what the hell you call that. It's still big looking, but it's not that big. And it chamfered all the way up in here. I didn't really want that to happen, but I realized it doesn't really matter that much because the 2-inch skirt's going to be in here somewhere in the center. So that won't matter. If you wanted to change it so it was more drastic, we can do that also. Just by kicking this out a little bit and keeping this where it is. And I'm thinking about doing that. Where's a hunk of wood? So if we add a little piece here and kick this out a little more and leave this where it is, that would make this cut more drastic. I'm going to try that. I'm going to go get a 1/4-inch shim and put it right there. 3/32. All right, so there it is right there. I'm going to try to bevel that just like that. And if I want to make it even more drastic and bring these bevels up here even farther, I could just bring it in another 1/16 of an inch and this would cut all the way to the top, which might not be a bad thing. We're experimenting now. Charlotte, this is what Pop Pop does. He experiments and does crazy things. So we'll have your legs to you shortly. Okay, there it is. It looks kind of strange, but it's better than just being a square leg. Super simple, and I changed this to give it more of a drastic angle. It's still thick as hell on the bottom. I mean, you can see the top, and there's the bottom, right? Squeaker says it's super burly and strong. So the tabletop's gonna sit here. We're gonna put the skirt in between all these things, which will be Peruvian walnut. It kind of looks tapered, but they're still square. You know, I put them point to point, so now they look like they're not straight up and down, right? But when you slide them together like this, they're just as square as they can be. Well, we left off yesterday, and it seemed like 2 seconds ago. We beveled these legs on the table saw. We made an octagon bottom right there. So I was originally gonna set it in there like this, and we're just gonna butt everything in nice and square, make it super easy to do. And then silly me went, that's boring. And I decided I'm gonna put it on a 45-degree angle. So instead of being like this side, it's gonna look like this with the leg turned at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to domino this guy in place here. And I think I'm going to take the top, and I'm just going to chamfer the top over, so it's going to be not really square. It'll be kind of like that, but not so drastic. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get the domino machine, and I'm going to practice putting a domino in this 45 into a straight leg. I've got this one little piece to practice with, and that should be enough, right? Hopefully we'll get it kind of centered in there, because that'd be nice. And then we'll have to figure out how we're going to glue all that up. See, Charlotte, Pop Pop's crazy. He does all sorts of weird things, and you won't get this until you're older, but that's the spice of life, figuring out new things, you know? So I'm going to go grab the domino machine. We're going to give this a shot. I'll film the whole thing just for you guys. Got the domino machine out. Here's the only problem. This being 3/4 of an inch, I can't really put anything bigger than these 4x20s in there. Look how tiny that is. Usually you put the settings on here for the depth and all that. I have it set on black, which is, I guess, 0. I have no idea. I'm going to try to do this here, so whatever that is. And then I'm going to have to figure out where this is going to go here. I'm going to put it upside down, put it right there. Take the pencil, I'm just going to kind of mark where they are. And what I'm going to do when I do this, I'm actually going to use a square, and then I'm going to come in probably a 1/2 inch from either side. I'm going to do the same thing there. So whatever this is, plus whatever that is. I'll have 2 squares and I'll mark them that way. I have it in the middle wiggle. So the middle wiggle is a little safer than the one that doesn't wiggle at all. It's just super tight. And I know you can do that. It works. I'm chicken. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to zip-zop these two as shallow as possible. And then we're going to have to figure out on this one how far back to put it. So when we have this here, it'll kind of be centered like that. And once I figure out if this is going to work, what we're going to do next is going to be to figure out where this is going to go. Gotta loosen this up, bring it all the way up. Let's try 40. Write that down, 40. Yeah, it's too far out. So all the way. Let's try all the way and see what happens. Okay, I think that'll work. What do you think? So that's the way the legs are going to be. All right, whoever told me that to try the little one, was that you, Doug? I'm going to set it on the little one now. Someone of you out there commented about the setting it on the smallest, skinniest setting. Oh, it'll work, it'll work. We got to find out if it's going to work right now. All right, now I have it set to 0 again. I can't even get those in there. What the hell are those made for? The domino doesn't even go in the hole. It doesn't even go in the damn hole. What the hell kind of baloney is that? Do I have a defective machine? Well, that ain't gonna be any good because I'm not gonna do them all over again. I must be missing something. Am I not doing something correct? Because now it looks like a freaking unibrow. Maybe this and this have something to do with each other? I'll have to figure that out. There it is. I got 2 in there now at least. I think 2 would be better. I'm putting 20s in there. I had it at 20 and it was too small. It's working now. I don't understand it. What the hell was the deal? All right, that's on 0, that's down. This is at 90. I'm gonna buzz this one and just make sure I got it marked right. Let's try it. 2 holes. I can barely get that damn thing in there. I'm gonna cut it off again and I'm gonna try the same damn thing again and see if I can get it close enough so it'll be where it needs to be. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do the zombie look like these guys are. We don't test things and we just go ahead and do them. Then we're gonna have serious problems because, you know, it's me. Sometimes you think you're smart. Most of the times you know you're not, so yeah. Practice makes perfect, right? All right, well there's that one. After I get this one all figured out, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do this to all of them. I'm gonna put it all the way back, flip down flat, raise it all the way up. Just where it is now. Yeah, I can't, these things just don't want to go in the hole. I guess that's what's going to be. That one feels nice and flush. I'm just double, triple checking all this stuff, you know. I only want to do this once. Yeah, so it looks like it's square on there. They're much stronger that way when they're super tight. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to buzz these last 2. And then we're gonna miter up all the pieces on the chop saw, figure out how wide they all need to be because they're all gonna be exactly the same length. And then we're gonna set this to 45 and buzz them all. So let me do this real quick. You try to make things better looking and they get complicated. That looks kind of cool. Now the next thing I gotta do is figure out how wide to make these. What does this need to be? So on an angle like that, I want a 1-inch overhang around everything. So to do that, I'm just going to put this square at the end because that I know is 1 inch wide. Okay, so from the outside of that to that there is 23 inches. So we're going to go point to point. I'm going to try just to start with 17 5/8. All right, clear the decks. Here we go. Okay, now that we made a total mess out of everything, I'm going to try this one more time. Huh, that's a 23. So that's cool. Okay, I'm going to domino the inside of these 2 right now. And we're going to try to fit 2 together. We're going to clamber them together. And then I'm going to put a little stop block at the very end and just cut them all. Good Lord. That one doesn't want to go in. It looks like they should go in there. It looks like this one domino. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe I can bend them in a little bit. Oh my God. That is tight, boy. This is ridiculous. Hold on. Loosen it up just a little bit. That worked a lot better. Maybe I'll have to double dip them. figure out how to put all that crap together. There you go, there's one. All right, so it's just about 21. It's 20 and 7/8 plus an inch and an inch should give me 23, right? Just about 23. So I'm just gonna go with that. And I'm gonna double dip all the cuts. So I'm just gonna hit the line and I'm just barely gonna go to the outside of the line. Just in case something's off slightly. I gotta get this done, you know, it's gonna be next Christmas before I get it done. All right, we have our skirt pieces and a little bit left over. Before I get all excited and keep going on other things because my brain wanders off, Mr. Kevin's gonna go ahead and domino all these pieces. I'm gonna have to tape them up and do this to them. Once I mark all these, I'll turn you back on. I'm gonna pen all these up and then we'll see in a little bit. So we have all our pieces that are all pinned in and ready to go. Okay, I'm gonna double dip every single one of these just a little bit. Oh man, here we go. All right, everybody, I'm gonna finish this up. It's 3:30. I'm gonna call number 2 to see what he's doing. Awesome sauce. All right, away we go.
Subscribe now.
Okay. Squeaker says Merry Christmas. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
All right, everybody.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, that thing's gotta go this way. It's very beautiful, right? When you put the clamps on it, don't put them on just like weak sauce. Just put them on there like you mean it. So now, how long did this fall off ago? Still running? Shit. You know, I look professional.